Mongolia, a land of vast landscapes and secrets. Women choose multiple partners, but challenges arise daily. Marriage here is not always what it seems. The traditions seem empowering, but women face pressure. Mongolia's nomadic culture values freedom, but women's roles struggle. Transient marriages offer choice, but stability remains fragile. Bride kidnapping is a harsh reality for many women. Cultural norms restrict women's control over their own fate. Ancient practices clash with modern views on gender equality. While women can choose partners, emotional ties face obstacles. Women endure societal pressure to remain traditional in marriage. Nomadic life offers freedom, but women are often confined. Gender expectations shape Mongolian marriages, limiting women's agency. Choices in partners don't always mean true freedom. Mongolian women face a unique struggle for independence. Nomadic traditions often force women into difficult decisions. Though empowered, many women endure isolation in relationships. Bride kidnapping is a painful, long-standing tradition for women. Women's voices are rarely heard in marriage decisions. Marriage freedom for women can still lead to regret. Cultural expectations often confine women despite their choices. Mongolia's ancient ways leave little room for change. Challenges for women stem from old patriarchal views. Women face discrimination despite freedom to choose partners. Nomadic life doesn't guarantee equality in relationships for women. Despite freedoms, women still seek real autonomy in marriage. Though diverse, Mongolian culture limits women's marital choices. Women's true desires often clash with societal expectations. Mongolian women deserve more than just the illusion of choice. Marriage challenges for women persist under Mongolia's traditions. Even in marriage, women fight for respect and equality. Mongolian women's marriages are influenced by deep-rooted customs. Though free to choose, women often feel pressured. Cultural norms make it difficult for women to thrive. Women fight to change Mongolia's rigid marriage practices. Despite progress, marriage choices remain complex for women. Mongolian culture doesn't always support women's independence in marriage. Though partners can be chosen, freedom still feels distant. Women in Mongolia seek balance between tradition and autonomy. The fight for women's rights continues despite visible freedoms. Marriage in Mongolia is layered with challenges for women. Women's desires often conflict with cultural and familial expectations. Mongolian women deserve more than fleeting, transient marriages. Freely chosen partners still bring emotional complexity for women. Mongolian society's view of marriage limits true freedom for women. Even in freedom, women struggle with deep cultural roots. Despite the freedom to choose, women still face hardship. The path to marriage isn't always clear for women. Mongolian women need more than just multiple partners. Traditional marriage practices weigh heavily on Mongolian women. Women's voices must be central to changing marriage norms. Mongolia's freedom of choice does not always equate equality. Women in Mongolia are still battling for marriage equality. Mongolian traditions hold deep implications for women's marriages. Even with choice, women's struggles in marriage persist. Mongolian society's view on marriage complicates women's freedom. The idea of freedom in marriage still challenges women. Nomadic lifestyle brings freedom but complicates women's relationships. Though tradition allows choice, women's voices are muted. Women face harsh judgment despite their marital decisions. Changing traditions is difficult, especially for Mongolian women. Mongolian women battle for control over their own lives. Marriage practices reflect deep social struggles for women. Despite choice, Mongolian women still find love difficult. The battle for women's equality in marriage continues. Mongolia's changing marriage landscape challenges women's autonomy. Women deserve more control over their marital lives. In Mongolia, women fight against societal marriage restrictions. Marriage in Mongolia isn't always a clear choice for women. Women in Mongolia seek independence but face constant challenges. Even with multiple partners, women's choices feel limited. Mongolia's marriage norms still prioritize men's decisions. Mongolian women's voices often go unheard in marriage. The journey of women in marriage is never simple. Mongolian women fight for more than just choice. Despite the freedoms, women in Mongolia face many barriers. Women's marriage rights in Mongolia remain under pressure. Mongolian women's struggles in marriage are often overlooked. Nomadic life brings freedom, but doesn't guarantee equality. Even with multiple partners, women's choices are complex. The societal pressure on Mongolian women in marriage is immense. Despite freedom to choose, women's struggles persist in Mongolia. Mongolian traditions often force women into difficult marital choices. Mongolian women seek true independence beyond transient marriages. Women in Mongolia navigate complex relationships with multiple partners. Marriage remains a battleground for women's freedom in Mongolia. Though allowed to choose, women still face overwhelming pressure. Women in Mongolia challenge old traditions to find love. Marriage for Mongolian women is a constant balancing act. Though free to choose, women still face cultural constraints. Mongolia's evolving marriage practices hold challenges for women. Women's struggles in marriage reflect larger societal issues. The fight for women's rights in marriage is ongoing. Mongolian women continue to challenge traditional marriage structures. Despite freedoms, Mongolian women face deep-rooted marital struggles. Marriage remains a challenge for Mongolian women's autonomy. Women in Mongolia continue to seek true freedom in marriage. Mongolian women's choices in marriage are often overshadowed. The battle for gender equality in marriage is ongoing. Mongolia's marriage practices challenge women's quest for equality. Women's choices in Mongolia are shaped by age-old traditions. Mongolian marriage practices still limit women's personal freedom. Women in Mongolia demand more than just the right to choose. Though free to choose, women's struggles in marriage persist. Mongolian women's rights in marriage are still in flux. Women in Mongolia fight for marriage that values their voice. The traditions of marriage in Mongolia hold women back. Mongolian women continue to challenge their roles in marriage. Even with multiple partners, Mongolian women struggle for independence. Mongolian women deserve freedom from the constraints of tradition. Women in Mongolia need more than just the freedom to choose. Mongolia's marriage system often silences the voices of women. Women in Mongolia's marriages seek more than transient choices. Though they choose, women's marital freedom remains in question. Even with freedom, Mongolian women face complex marital struggles. Mongolian women's marriages reflect larger societal gender challenges. Mongolian women continue to fight for true marital equality. Women in Mongolia face complex struggles in marriage. Though choices are open, Mongolian women's marriages are constrained. Mongolian marriage practices continue to limit women's autonomy. Even with multiple choices, Mongolian women fight for true freedom. Marriage in Mongolia, women's freedom is not always clear. Though empowered to choose, women in Mongolia face societal limits. Marriage for Mongolian women involves navigating complex cultural expectations. Mongolian women's struggles for equality in marriage continue. Women in Mongolia battle for the right to marry freely.